Welcome to my channel. My name is Karuna, and today we're going to look at two universal questions that inevitably we will all ask. The first question being, when does trauma go away? And the second question being, how does it end? Trauma does have an expiration date. It's not the expiration date that the ego thinks it's going to be. In other words, it's done. Like I've reached a certain point and it's over. It's not like that. But there is an important shift that takes place where trauma does not have the power over you that it used to have. I'm going to describe that shift. Initially, when we've experienced trauma, we feel very much at the behest of trauma. It has power over me. I'm disempowered. I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed. We'll have the relationship to the trauma of stop beating me up. Through understanding, through the mind's pursuit of books, videos, listening to podcasts, through the mind's understanding, trauma starts to slowly be diluted. And there comes a point where a shift happens. And in that shift, we go from feeling overwhelmed by the trauma, and in many cases paralyzed by the trauma, to recognize inside that the trauma is holding me hostage. It's holding my deeper wisdom hostage. It's holding my freedom hostage. It's holding my joy hostage. Now you are in the position of having the power over the trauma. And trauma is made of psychological memories. So your mind has worked hard enough and in such a dedicated way where the mind can see, aha, trauma. I get what you're doing. And now you've been holding me hostage. Well, guess what? This relationship is shifted. In this transformative moment, please be clear that it doesn't mean that we won't have a response in the body when a trauma or memory arises. It doesn't mean that we won't be triggered. It's all gone. Slowly over a period of time, we will be able to recover more quickly when a trigger occurs, and we will be more observant of what's going on in the body. Oh, is that anxiety? Oh, that's the pit of my stomach. I feel fear in my stomach. I feel the sensation in my stomach. We'll be able to slow down the response to the trauma or the memory, the trigger, and we'll be able to interact more skillfully with what's going on. The trauma will no longer go from 0 to 250 miles an hour like a bullet train. If that shift has not yet occurred for you, today can you make that shift? The trauma no longer has power over you. You see that it's been holding you hostage. Your deeper wisdom, your heart, your goals, your desires, you have domain over the trauma. I hope that frees up some energy for you right now in your heart and in your stomach and in your mind. The trauma will go away through deepened understanding, through perseverance, through releasing emotions, and importantly, by no longer resisting the barricade that we will put up around the trauma, around shame, around low self-worth, by no longer resisting those barricades. The second question is, how does trauma end? This question often comes up when we're suffering the most. We've been at this a while, I'm over it, I'm so done. Those of us drawn to the healing journey are looking for resolution. It starts with the thoughts. The mind really wants questions to be answered. In other words, the mind is looking for its own resolve. When this resolve comes, when the aha moments come, when you've put it into perspective enough, when your trauma painting is complete enough, where you say, okay, I understand my stage play. I understand that this occurred. I no longer minimize. When this moment occurs, the armor around the heart that was built up through the thoughts that armor starts to break. Feelings, emotions come forth. Emotions that were stored away long, long ago. In the acknowledgement of these feelings, in the embrace of these feelings, a balance occurs. The mind no longer overcompensates at the expense of the heart. And the mind and the heart start to work in tandem. The dramatic moments are fewer because the heart is being honored. And the mind no longer needs to dominate and protect. It's connected to a deeper wisdom. So a balance takes place. And in this balance, in this merging of the mind and the heart, the trauma comes to an end. It's a gradual, savory experience. Very nuanced. You're not quite as triggered, or you had an interaction with a family member and it just didn't quite have the punch that it did in the past. Cognitive behavioral therapy holds an important role. We're often working with the behaviors, we're working with understanding, and that's beautiful, a beautiful part of the healing timeline. Once that part of your picture feels complete and you feel ready for a transition into the feeling world, this is where meditation and prayer and doing what you love really shine. The thoughts are no longer a blockade to the presence, the love that lives inside of you. And as you become more comfortable in this world of presence and love, that will rise as the edifice of the thoughts continue to slowly acquiesce like a tide going out to sea. Fall in love with the process. No need to fight it. No need to be impatient. I know in times of great suffering, it feels like we cannot heal fast enough. All the trauma you've experienced and all the challenging events in our world that are largely fueled by trauma, they ultimately will work in our favor. They will circle around us and say, dear one, you are healing. You are going through the door of the universal. We will conspire in your favor, and we're going to push you through the suffering, yes, through the wondering, through times of depression. We're going to push you and give you no option but to become a lover of truth and to go through that door of the universal and then live that experience within the world. That known, felt experience. This is a big topic. I'm going to explore it in a more nuanced way in an upcoming video. And in the meantime, if you have experiences or comments to share, please let me know. And I always welcome topics for future videos.